Hello everybody and welcome back to Blanche Case Fitness. It's Wednesday and you know what that means. It's time for Jump Around, our weekly cardio class, and it is day 2 of April Powers. Oh yeah. Yesterday was less of an auspicious start than I had hoped for because I was battling a massive tension headache, so I wasn't really able to do class, which was a bummer, but hopefully those of you who were taking class had a good time, a good kickoff to the month. So this is our kickoff for Wednesday. So basically this is going to be a month of programming, and the concept behind it, we've done this in October, so if you did that month, then you know what the concept is like. But for those of you who did not, the concept behind it is that we are going to be doing the same program each week for the next 4 weeks, but it's going to ramp up in intensity. So for most of these, that will mean, my usual 4:38 p.m. yawns, because that makes sense. Anyway, for most of the programs, that will mean ramping up the length of the work interval over the course of the week. So, you know, for today's class, it's going to be mostly Tabata intervals. Today's going to be all 20-second work intervals, 10-second rest intervals. And then next week, we'll start mixing in some 30-10s. And then the week after, we'll have a mix of 30-10s and 45-15s. And then by the end of the month, it will be all 45-15s, baby. And it's just an opportunity for us to really ramp up and challenge ourselves in a more deliberate way than I'm usually able to do with classes. You know, there's a difference between teaching class and doing personal training instruction, you know, where you really get to do more focused ramping up of people's intensity and power and speed and stuff like that. And obviously I don't have the ability to do that usually in a class setting, but for the month of April, we are going to be rocking out. And I'm super excited. We haven't done this since October. My goal going forward is to have a month like this every quarter, basically. So we'll have our next one in July. July? Yes, July. And then we'll come back around to October. And then next year I will actually do something in January. I didn't quite have the mental capacity to do that this past year for obvious reasons. But yeah. So one month out of every 3, we will have month-long programming like this, and I'll keep thinking of pithy names to go along with it. But yeah, so hopefully you can make it to every class this month, or if you're not able to make the live cast, obviously watch the VODs either on Twitch or when I upload them on YouTube. And together we can ramp up over the course of the month. And then in the first week of the next month, we'll go through the programs one more time in their original form. So their sort of baseline form that we're doing this week, and just see how different it feels and how hopefully much easier it feels to get through them. So that is the month in a nutshell. And I'm really excited. You know, it's been a while since we've ramped up like this, and I know that I've ramped up my own exercise intensity, although yesterday I didn't really get to put that into practice. So yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a challenge for me too, and I'm sure it'll be a challenge for all of you. But yeah, that's why we're here, right? To challenge ourselves. Woo! Oh, golly. Yeah, I've been working all day and staying up too late at night watching The Flash. I'm binging it. I don't know why I would say it any other way. I've been binging The Flash for the last several days. Yeah, it's just a delightful show. I mean, it's got its problems at some points, but the chemistry between the cast is just absolutely delightful. Yeah, Grant Gustin is a perfect casting, and I don't really I don't know. I was having this conversation with a partner the other day. Like, there's nothing wrong with Ezra Miller's portrayal of the Flash in the DCEU, but just the difference between what they're able to do with the DC television shows versus what they do with the DC movies. And movies are always like gritty and intense and beat you down with symbolism and pain. And the shows do such a good job of like having the intense moments, yes, but also finding the fun and the levity and the joy. And I just find that a lot more enjoyable and less exhausting to watch, especially over the long term. If I'm going to spend 4 hours watching a superhero thing, I think I would prefer a Grant Gustin to Zack Snyder. Poisonally. New Supergirl this month, and I haven't really dug into Supergirl. I'm doing The Flash because I had watched through season 1 way long ago and then hadn't continued forward, so I already had that like kick off, and I'll probably go back to Arrow next for the same reason, because I watched a couple of seasons of Arrow and then sort of fell off it, and got to keep this binge train going. But I have been, every once in a while they do these giant crossover episodes, and I hit one a few days back and definitely bounced from show to show to follow the arc of the crossover. So I won't have to watch those episodes whenever I do go through those shows. But The Flash is a delightful show. It's got its problematic moments. There's an entire character who I really like, and thankfully she's a recurring guest star, not a main character, but her name is a slur for the Romani people, and that is hella awful every time I hear it. So that's definitely problematic. And the episode that I just watched had like a little bit of a like girl power vibe in a really obnoxious sort of corporate-y way, but I still love the show. It's got its problematic stuff, and it's got its really wonderful, impressive stuff. So that's my ad for a television show today. Yeah, Supergirl, having seen the character in the crossover episodes that she's been in on Flash, I'm like, oh yeah, she is hella cheesy, but she also can absolutely pull it off, and it's kind of delightful. And like, again, speaking of joy, there's this whole training montage scene when like, the Arrow and the Legends of Tomorrow are all like trying to attack Supergirl, and she's just like floating in air, being bulletproof, and like just grinning from ear to ear the whole time. And you're like, oh, you're actually having fun with what you're doing. Isn't that nice? So anyway, fun stuff. It's nice to have a mostly joyful show that also has some emotional bits every once in a while, so that when I need to be more emotional, I have something to go to. Hey. But you didn't come here for my reviews on television shows. Well, you may have come here for that, but you also came here to exercise. And I would say it's about time to kick that off. And I'm going to be taking it, like, I'm going to do all of class today. I think I can do that. The headache has not returned, thankfully. But I'm still going to take it easy on myself today because I missed a couple of days last week, and I'm not that far out from my first vaccine shot, so we'll see. Lena Luthor, excellent. I will definitely add Supergirl to my rotation, but we are gonna rock our first April Powers class for Jump Around. I'm really excited about this class that we've got set up for y'all, and all right, my dears, let's do our pre-class checklist. Hey, you got your water? Take a drink. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. You got your comfy clothes on, whatever that means to you. If you need to go ahead and yawn, go ahead and do it. You've got your mat or mat-sized space on the floor, and if you use a fitness wearable, now's the time to turn them on to high-intensity interval training. Do. All right, day 2. We're in April somehow. I can't believe it's April, but yeah, we're here apparently, and I feel like everything feels just as confused as it did last April, although for very different reasons, and that's good. Also Katie Sackhoff was in the last episode I watched. That was interesting. She was delightful, even though she cannot do a particularly good British accent, but she was still delightful, so, you know, able to look past that. Anyway, all right, my friends, it's time to warm up. It's time to warm up. We got our timer. We got our speaker. Oh, we have got a class plan ready to go. We have got the power, and we are going to have fun today. So everybody on your mats, on your backs, 1 foot crossed over the opposite knee, and as soon as you hear that horn go off, we will begin with hip rocks and bridges. Hopefully that's not too loud. Well, that's pretty loud, but you know what? We're going to go with it anyway. All right. So kicking off with our warm-up, and as always, remembering that the warm-up is our boot-up sequence, so we do not need to be going for full intensity right off the bat. There will be plenty of time in the rest of class for full-on intensity. The warm-up does not need to be one of those times. All right? Just like when you start a road race, you wouldn't necessarily start sprinting across the starting line at your top speed. If it's going to be a longer race, because you want to make sure that you're managing your energy. It's the same thing for our warm-up. I know I talk about this a lot, my friends, but you know, it's interesting. I'm far more aware of the things that I repeat in my teacher patter now that I stream than I was in my in-person classes. And I think part of that is, of course, these classes are all getting recorded and, you know, getting uploaded to YouTube, and so they will exist for a while, and so, you know, I'm more aware of repeating things that I've said in previous classes, but also not everybody is able to make all of my classes, so it's still going to be relevant information. You know, if you're only able to make 1 class a week, or you dip in and out of the VODs whenever you have time, like, yeah, it's still relevant. And the other thing is, it's still important information, you know? And no matter how many times we tell ourselves something, it is still very important to get that reinforcement for so much of what we do. So, yeah, I worry about it a little bit, you know, I worry a little bit about repeating my talking points over and over again, but frankly, you know, it's important to reinforce things. It's important to let you know what I value as a teacher and as a professional, to let you know what I think is important enough to sort of dig into and reinforce over and over again. Like, it's important. So I will try not to worry too much about it. I tell you, speaking of like COVID things and just trying to imagine a world that opens up a little bit more, I would love to get back to boxing. I've done a little bit of boxing. I've done enough boxing to own gloves and wraps. Looking at them right now, which is why I thought of this. But man, I remember getting laid off from a job and a few days later going and taking a boxing class and just being like, oh, this was exactly what I needed to get a lot of angry energy out of my system. And I feel like I've got that same need, but times like a billion for all of 2020 and everything it has wrought, and quite frankly, a lot of stuff that's been wrought in 2021 as well. So, oh man, yeah. I don't like, I know that some like fitness classes like to include, you know, punching sequences and sort of kickbox style in their classes. I don't do that. I'm not a trained boxing teacher, and, you know, frankly, there's a lot of technique in it, and I think that gets lost a lot of times when people bring some of those sequences into more traditional fitness classes. But if you live in the Boulder area and want an awesome boxing lesson at some point, once things are a bit safer to do such in-person activities, I highly recommend Front Range Boxing. I took class with a teacher named Sarah, who was awesome and a total badass. This is not sponsored or anything. I just really like Front Range Boxing, and I hope to go back there at some point. Not to mention rock climbing, which I haven't done. Even before the pandemic, I hadn't climbed in ages because my shoulder stuff had gotten bad enough that I felt like I needed to take time away from the wall. And then, of course, I strengthened up over the course of the pandemic. My shoulder's gotten much better, which is really awesome. But I haven't been able to take advantage of that. So, God, when was the last time I climbed? It might have been June 2019. That is entirely possibly the last time that I went climbing, which would make me very sad. I hope I've climbed since then. But yeah, that is something I miss a ton. Very much looking forward to getting back on the wall at Boulder Rock Club when I feel safe enough to do so, and maybe teaching some in-person classes again someday. Who knows? Obviously, for many of the folks who take class with me here, my in-person offerings are not that attractive to you, and that's totally fair. But you know, if you are ever in the Boulder area when I am teaching an in-person class, obviously come check it out, because we do have fun in those classes as well. But I also love teaching this way, so I don't worry about it too much, man. And it was just over a year ago that I started teaching this way for the first time. So cool, so freaking cool, my friends. Oh man. I hope your Wednesday's going well. My Wednesday's going pretty well. It's definitely been an overall better day than yesterday. You know, not having that headache sort of building for multiple hours is obviously a huge part of that. Yeah, it's just nice to feel like I can get a little bit back into the class swing. I can definitely tell that I'm feeling a little more physically subdued. I'm probably not going to be pushing myself super intensely today. And as we talk about, that is always a-okay. But I do think that I will be able to do all of class, which is super exciting, because yesterday I really did not have that capacity, and it was, you know, it's important to acknowledge, while I meant everything I said yesterday about it being totally fine, that my wind condition was just be on the mat and do as much as I could, it's also good to acknowledge that I did find that frustrating, you know? it can be really frustrating when we don't have the capacity that we wish we did in a given moment. So I am very pleased that today I'm feeling more of that capacity, and I feel like I will be able to participate more fully in today's class, because yeah, I want to go on this journey with y'all this month. You know, last time we did this programming, I was still not doing the entirety of class with you. You know, I would do like 4 out of 8 work intervals generally, and leave it there. So this is going to be an experience for me, because my goal for this month is to be able to do the entirety of the classes, and that is going to be a big thing. That is going to be a big change and a big challenge, you know, because I have to also be able to talk and teach at the same time, which, you know, is not a new problem, but it is just going to be a very exciting challenge. And I do believe I am up to it, but I'm also not nervous necessarily, but conscious, I guess. So yeah, you know, we're kicking off this week. So this week is all about getting to know the programs, you know, and as I said, these are going to be the quote-unquote easiest iterations of all of the programs. So, you know, what we can really think about this week as we're getting to know the exercises and the order and the timer structures and all that stuff is thinking about, okay, what are my goals for this month? You know, what is progress going to look like for me over the course of the month? And for myself, I think that my goal is really just to be able to do the entirety of each class. And you know, my stretch goal is to see what additional sort of overall intensity I can bring to my sets, rather than probably keeping them closer to my bare minimum baseline, you know? So that is, I think, what I'm going to be working on, because it's still only been a few weeks since I really started digging in and trying to do the entirety of class with you all each time I teach. So that is still new to me, and it's still something that I am cementing as my approach to teaching and to class. And so I really want to be able to really cement that over the course of the month, and maybe even get to a place where I can push myself for a little added intensity each time. But you know, the thing is, just doing the entire class each week is going to be intense in and of itself, because the timers are going to get longer, and the exercises that we're doing, we're going to have to maintain them for a longer period of time. So, you know, this is our cardio class. It's got a lot of jumping around in it, and today that's going to be pretty easy, because it's going to be all 20-second work intervals, you know, that nice standard that allows us to really sort of sprint and push knowing that we're not going to have to maintain it for a super long time. But once you go from maintaining a cardio exercise for 20 seconds to maintaining it for 45 seconds, it's a big change. It's a big change. And just that ramp up is gonna be really different. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot to challenge ourselves with over the course of this month. And there are a lot of ways to approach that challenge, okay? We do not have to approach it with the attitude of every time I have to push for more reps and more speed. We can start with just every time I have to keep going the whole time. And one of the nice things that we will encounter is that, this week, all of our timers have the same interval length. But starting next week, we're gonna have a mix, right? So some of these timers will ramp up to 30 seconds, and some of them will stay at 20. So the timers that stay at 20 will have the opportunity to go, all right, for this timer, can I push myself a little bit harder than I did last week, And for the 30-second timers, we can go, all right, for this week, on this exercise, I'm just gonna focus on keeping it going the whole time. So that is going to be another way that we are able to manage this. Woo! All right, lots of water. Seriously, lots of water, my friends. All right. The thermostat in my house keeps trying to heat the house up to 70 degrees. And I'm like, you need to chill, thermostat. It's already 64 degrees outside. I do not need a tropical rainforest in here. Oh yeah, we're gonna be drinking a lot of water today. Okay, so all 10 sets, so 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. All of them will be 2 exercises, except for the last one. So we'll just be going back and forth between exercises. And for our first set, we are going to alternate between our high knee runs, which are basically flaming scarlets, but without holding the arms in a V. So just pulling those knees up, trying to get them up above the crease in your hips, or as high as you can lift them. And then turtle planks will be the other one. So up on the shoulders, up on the feet, plant the hands, jump back to that plank, then jump forward and repeat again, okay? So those are our exercises. Yeah, a nice way to kick ourselves off. Oh man, I can tell that my house was trying to heat up to 70 degrees. It's gonna be like a sauna in here at the end. All right, that was not our go sound. That is our get ready sound. So we're all on our mats, prepared to start as soon as we hear that horn, okay? And that's super important because when we only have 20 seconds, we don't want to miss out on any of that timer, right? So make sure that you are ready when you hear it. Woo! Oh man. All right, time for those turtle planks. Remember, you can modify getting up onto the feet. If you struggle to roll all the way up like that fluidly, you can use a hand to push yourself up or bring a knee down. Just be aware that it's going to arrest your momentum a little bit. And the turtle exercises are all about that momentum. So just keep that in mind. Now, with our high knee runs, we want to make sure that the core is engaged. Those lower abdominals are actually quite helpful in pulling the knees up, okay? Oh, yeah. I can already tell my friends that this is going to be really intense. So again, remember, this week is us getting to know the programs. And so we can be a little easy on ourselves and just take it a little easy. No need to go straight to the summit. This is only our first week. And yeah, let me tell you, trying to do high knee runs while talking is not my favorite thing. And it definitely impacts how much strength and power I feel like I have available to put into the exercise. Whew. But that is okay. Now, keeping in mind that as we jump back into and then out of the plank, we are controlling that weight and that movement with our shoulders. So we need to make sure that we are maintaining that stability and that strength for the turtle planks. So keeping that in mind every time we go back to that. Alrighty? Okay, this is our final set for round one of a whole bunch. So here we are, heading into the last set of turtle planks. And I know turtle planks feel real weird because they sort of arrest your momentum anyway, because you jump into that plank and you feel like you should be doing more. So that can take a while to get used to. All right. Woo! How's everybody doing? Every time we stop, this water bottle is your best friend. Oh yeah. If you're totally done with your water before we're even done with class, that's totally fine. Now, next set, we are gonna do first exercise is gonna be side-to-side mat jumps. So starting on one side of our mat, standing on the same leg. So if you're on the left-hand side, stand on the left-hand leg. Other leg crossed behind you, but we're not standing on it. All that weight, all that power's on the front leg. We bend at the knee. We use that power to jump to the other side. You can tap a hand down for balance only, and then back to the first side, okay? And we go back and forth and back and forth. Second exercise is gonna be push-ups. So you can do wall push-ups, incline push-ups off a piece of furniture. You can do our traditional plank push-up from the knees. You can do a wave push-up, whatever you want to do there. The only requirements are A, shoulders directly over wrists, and B, keeping those elbows glued into your side as you go down and up, not letting them fan out away from your body, okay? All right. All right, all right, all right. Oh, yeah. This is an intense day. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it already. Man. And it's, you know, it is possible. All right, get ready for those mat jumps. It is possible that some of what I'm feeling is related to my my vaccine shot, because apparently it is possible for symptoms to start showing up, you know, within 1 to 3 days and last for a couple of days after that. So it's possible. Or, you know, it's just been a rough couple of weeks and my body is feeling like it needs a little more gentleness than it usually does. And that's fine too. You know, we talk a lot about listening to the signals that our bodies send us, and that's super important. It's also important to remember that it may take a little bit of interpretation to figure out what our bodies are telling us. And they may not be saying just one thing, you know? It's entirely possible that I'm feeling a little overtrained, and that combined with the COVID shot and combined with some of the stresses of the last couple of weeks, and that has led me to feeling a little bit more worn down than I might otherwise. And that is, you know, those are all very believable reasons, and it doesn't really matter which one is correct or sort of highest on the scale, because they all can be addressed pretty much in the exact same way, which is by taking it a little easier. So that's what we're doing. Well, that's what I'm doing. It is not what you have to do. If you're there feeling super intense and ready to really push yourself and go for gusto, then absolutely go ahead, do it. If you're not, then take it easy, okay? Like, look, I am not at all pushing myself to my absolute limits right now. And I am still feeling my cardiovascular system working nice and hard. I'm still getting sweaty and feeling my muscles getting a little fatigued. So it does not honestly matter that I'm not going for maximum intensity, because I am still getting a really awesome workout. Okay? Woo! Yeah! All right. Water time. Good set. Good set, my friends. Oh yeah. Yeah, I am almost halfway done with this. Okay? Make sure that you're drinking plenty of water. One of the theories around why we sometimes get like side stitches when we're working out is if we're dehydrated. So, you know, it is always good to hydrate as much as possible. And we've talked recently about all of the ways in which we lose fluid while we're exercising. We lose it through sweat, we lose it through breath, and we're doing both pretty heavily right now. So always have that water. All right, next set. We've got turtle jumps. So same start, rock, up on the feet, jump up, and repeat, okay? So nice and easy. I like adding more turtle things in because you already know the baseline of the exercise. And then second exercise is gonna be shrimps. So we're rocking, core engaged, keeping us in a nice rounded position so we can move down the mat, shoulders, then hips, shoulders, then hips, and when you get to the end, just turn around and go back in the opposite direction. All right? So those are our two exercises, turtle jumps and shrimps. Yeah. Remembering first sound does not mean go. First sound means stop, rest. Knock, knock, knock tells us to get in position, to be ready to start as soon as we hear that horn. And you want, one of the things I don't talk about a ton with our turtle exercises, but I should, is that you're getting a lot of core engagement throughout that exercise, because between with the rocking motion that you have to do, you need to make sure that your core is rounded and contracted so that you're able to complete those rolls and you're able to control going up on your shoulders so you don't just accidentally like belly flop on your back, basically. All right. I like going from shrimps to turtle because I don't have to stand up. I can just stay on the ground. And again, when we jump in the air, we also want that core engagement to make sure that we keep a more predictable trajectory through the air and then back down to the ground. So core, my friends, our core is always doing so much work for everything that we do. And there are few, if any, exercises where I would tell you to not make sure that you're engaging your core. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if there is such an exercise, I have not come across it yet. So just assume that even if I don't remember to mention it, that we definitely want to make sure that our core muscles are engaged and doing work. All right, here we go. Round 3
23. Well, I was going to say, one of you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I suppose the timer is the thing that'll tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. Nope. I was not. All right, and I believe that this is our last set. Whew. Yeah. Oh man, definitely a day, a week to start off just focusing on the bare minimum. We're gonna have so much time to get to know all of these exercises and all of these sets, you know, and that's the thing to keep in mind. We don't have to be, you know, sprinting out of the gate, because we're going to be doing this program for the next 4 weeks, basically. So, yeah, you can absolutely, this is a chance for us to very deliberately go and focus on the bare minimum and make sure that our foundation is solid, so that as we continue through the month and we continue ramping up the intensity, you know, because you really put a lot of focus into it this week, that you don't have to spend as much energy, mental energy, just trying to remember what comes next, because it's going to be the same thing for several weeks. All right, hang on. Get some water. All right. And try not to choke. So, our next set, we've got our fake jump rope. All right, so don't worry if you don't have a jump rope. I don't either. We're just pretending. So I do want you holding an invisible jump rope and doing the actual motion as if you were maneuvering it through the air, okay? And then second exercise, turtle burpees. So we rock back to a plank, do a wave push-up, jump the feet forward, jump up, and repeat, okay? So it may take a little bit for you to put all those pieces together, because it is similar to a regular burpee, but just different enough that it'll take a little thought. So just keep in mind, turtle burpee, not regular. But first, we start with our jump ropes. And they're not going to feel as intense today because we're only doing 20 seconds. But as we get the longer and longer intervals, this is going to be a nice exercise for us to have on our docket. All right. Now with the turtle burpees, keep in mind, there are additional components from just our regular, so you will very likely not be able to do as many total reps in these 20 seconds, and that is totally fine, okay? Just do as much as you can, because that's always the goal. Just do as much as you can. And make sure you're breathing, okay? You need oxygen. It is so important to get that oxygen moving through your system, making sure that you are getting it to all your muscle fibers so that they have an opportunity to keep generating Just try to pay attention to that. Again, we listen to what our body's telling us. And we make sure that we are honoring it. And maybe that means pull back. Maybe that means, ooh, I need to stop. And that's okay. That is okay, all right? It's something that can feel really frustrating when you're like, I just want to keep going. I know I have that capacity, but you know what? Capacity is not a static thing. It can be impacted by so many different factors in our life, both internal and external. And it is far more important for us to remember that and honor that, rather than being over here going, no, I have to muscle through, all right? So there you go. I'm trying to always mirror these behaviors for you when I can, which should be always, frankly, because, yeah, we always can. It is never a bad time for us to take a step back, recognize that we need to limit ourselves a bit more today than we did yesterday, and to give ourselves the opportunity to build back up. And, you know, frankly, for myself, like, I can be over here being frustrated that I am not feeling able to push quite as much as I normally would, or I can remind myself that yesterday I didn't even have the capacity to make it through half a class. So today is much better. Today I am much stronger, much more grounded. And that's super important to remember. All right? Woo! Yeah. And I want to always talk to you about when I'm feeling that way, because frankly, I don't think enough fitness instructors let you see the effort behind the curtain. And that in and of itself can feel really demoralizing when we're like, well, they were able to make it to X level of performance, why can't I? Well, you know what? It's not a straight line. We all have good days, bad days, and every type of day in between. And the important thing is to read them and to roll with them. All right? All right. Woo! So, our next set of exercises, we've got mountain climbers. So, from that nice front plank position, shoulders directly over wrists, butts out of the air, driving one knee at a time forward. All right? And then number 2 is going to be bicycles. So crunch up, one knee in, other leg extended, opposite elbow to knee, and going back and forth. All righty? So, here we are. Oh, yeah. Big yawns. All right. Mountain climbers and bicycles. Another nice opportunity for us to not have to get off the ground. Now, for our mountain climbers, you need that nice, stable, strong shoulder engagement, and that's going to help keep your butt out of the air, and that's going to help keep your shoulders directly over wrists. So if you start feeling your butt going up in the air, it's a fair guess that your shoulders are also pushing back from your wrists. And to reset is super easy. You really just push your butt down back into position, and that's gonna bring everything else with it, okay? I added mountain climbers into this month's program, and I'm a little terrified because they are absolutely one of my bigger sort of white whale exercises, because it used to be that I did not have the shoulder strength and stability to really maintain them. And now I absolutely have that, but I've still got a bit of a mental block around them. So, you know, I put them in to challenge myself and to really say, all right, you can absolutely do this. It's just gonna be a little intense and a little intimidating, and that is totally fine. All right? I'm gonna take my glasses off for a bit. Woo! Also, another thing, we're doing a lot in today's class that requires us to be up on our hands with our hands flexed like this. So if you need to modify for wrist issues, you can go from up on the fists like that, or use push-up handles or dumbbells, either one. And that will help you to keep your wrists straight so that they're not hyperextending, okay? So I don't generally have wrist issues, but I have noticed a little bit over today's class. So if that's something you're feeling, then definitely don't be afraid to change the position, okay? Even when I don't say anything about the modification at the beginning, it is always there. It is always an option for you, okay? So just keeping that in mind. And now, remember to keep your hands in front of your face. No locking your hands behind your head. That gives us a tendency to try and yank our heads forward, and is one of the ways in which we compensate for weaker abdominals. All right? Woo! There we are. Okay. How's everybody doing? Huh? I know that I'm feeling it. And if you're feeling it too, well, yeah, of course you are. This is intense. All right. So we've got 2 more sets. And now you want me to ramp it up a little bit more? I'm so sorry if it's not as intense as you thought it would be. I'd be happy to up the intensity a bit more. Okay, last 2 sets. This next one is going to be 2 classics. So we're gonna have flying chickens that hold standby, feet starting together on the ground, thumbs at chest height. You can hook your thumbs behind your bra straps if you wear a bra. And we're jumping the feet out in the air and lifting the elbows, and then bringing the feet back together, the exact same place where they started. Out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, just like that. And then number 2 is a pulsed front superhero. So Arms extended, legs extended. We lift arms, legs, chest off the ground and lower. Lift and lower, lift and lower, and so forth. All right. So, everybody back on your mats and drinking plenty of water. My hands are covered in dust because my mat is covered in dust, and I am ready for some flying chickens. Yeah, here we go. It's nice to have some classics in here, really let you settle in, you know. Flying chickens is a favorite of mine, so I do it pretty frequently in class, and that just means that you have even less sort of mental energy to that you need to spend figuring out what's going on. So yeah, you know, we love doing new exercises, adding in new things to our repertoire, and we also love going back to some of those classics, some of those old favorites, and having the opportunity to really dig in and improve. Because that's the thing, as we cement the exercise in our neural pathways, we cement that form, we cement that understanding of how much baseline energy it takes us to do the exercise. Once we have all that, then we have the opportunity to figure out how much more we can push and how much more intensity we are able to bring to the exercise. So that is one of the reasons why we have favorite exercises, things that I will return to time and time again to really give us a chance to focus in and see how we can challenge ourselves going forward on something like flying chickens. There's definitely hair in my mouth. Oh well, that's all right, because we are finishing up our third set. So just one more set coming up, and then we will finish with a rousing final Tabata. Oh yeah, an oldie but a goodie, and a great opportunity for us to close out class. All right, so checking on those cores. Again, not a core focused exercise, but still one that will benefit from that added stability. And then this, obviously, is a core focused exercise. So it's hard to get around for this one. Woo! And remember to breathe. Lots of breathing happening, right? Because we cannot get through class without oxygen. All right. There we go. Here we go, here we go. Water. Oh yeah, much better. Okay,
My friends, it's been an intense class. We have one more set to go. And speaking of old standbys, it's going to be burpees. So you know what you got to do. You know all the form notes I would give you because we do them every class. You know that this is the last set, so you can take those final bits of energy that you've been squirreling away and leave them all on the mat. There's nothing to save them for now. Alrighty, so we've still got a little bit of rest time to finish out. So take those drinks of water, take those nice deep breaths, feel the oxygen getting through to every part of your body. I'm going to take my glasses off for this because my face is sweaty. And I could definitely, use not having to worry about them slipping off my face. All right, onto your mats, my friends. This is our final Tabata, last chance for glory as we finish out week one, class 2 of April Powers. Here we go. Remember, we're doing our usual burpees this time. So if you are still remembering those turtle burpees, that is not what we're doing right now. So just keep that in mind. All right. And yes, it's going to be different because we are not going back and forth between exercises right now. We are just focusing on our burpees. I want that nice wave push-up, not a plank push-up. I want that nice big victory clap at the top. And boy howdy, I want you to really make sure that you are breathing, getting that oxygen into your system. So, here we are. We are focusing in, making sure the elbows stay right in by your sides as you do that push-up. Oh, and let me tell you, I am feeling it. I am feeling the fatigue. I am feeling the intensity of class. And so I'm not going as fast as I could. And I know that. And that's okay. Because you know what I am doing? I am still moving. I am still going, jumping, pushing up, getting that victory clap in. And now is the time for us to get our cheerleaders out, put them on the floor, next to your mat, next to your laptop, your TV, whatever you're watching the stream on, because you have made it through such an intense class. And you know what? If you're feeling tired and worn down, that is totally fine. It's totally natural. And oh man, I am too. You can tell I'm slowing down, but you know what? I am still going. And that sometimes is our win condition, okay?
These do not have to be the most impressive burpees that we've ever seen, but as long as I am still moving, I am succeeding. Last set, my friends. You have absolutely got this. Victory clap. Woo! Oh, wow. That was intense. That was an intense class, my friends. And you know what? You should pat yourself on the back right now, because I'm proud of you, and you should be too. All right, let's do some stretching. I think we'll start with my favorite quad stretch. So working leg folded, heel to the outside of the hip, but pulled in to the hip as close as you can. And slowly lowering yourself until just as far as you have to go to feel the intensity of that stretch, okay? So it could be here, could be down on the elbows, or it could be all the way down on the floor. Wherever you are, take a sec to settle into the position. Feel the muscle lengthening, stretching out. And we are going to take 4 deep breaths. And each time you inhale, visualize that oxygen going to wherever you are feeling the most intensity of sensation. And each time you exhale, just try to sink a little bit more deeply into the stretch. So here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. And now, slowly and carefully back up to seated. Don't move this leg under its own power. Take one hand to the knee, one hand to the ankle, and manually unfold in front of you. Other foot to meet it. Shake out those knees. Flex the feet, and point, and flex, and point, and circle the ankles in one direction, and then the other direction. And then other side. Same thing. Remembering that we are not symmetrical creatures, so you may be able to go farther down on this side. You may not be able to go as far. And either way is fine. Wherever you can get to, take a second to settle into that position. Feel the lengthening, breathe through it so that you're not tightening and clenching that muscle. And now let's take those same 4 deep breaths, all right? Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. And carefully back up. One hand to the knee, one hand to the ankle. Manually unfold. Bring those legs out together. Shake out those knees. Flex the feet. And point. And flex. point and circle the ankles, first in one direction and then the other direction. All right, and now let's take a nice wide stance of the legs. You want to make sure that your knees can still point directly up towards the ceiling. So if you're struggling with that, if the legs are trying to cave forward, then you can narrow the position, all right? And first, we're going to square our shoulders towards one leg and fold all the way over, getting that nice, deep hamstring stretch. Oh, baby. All right, and just check back here. Make sure that knee still pointing up towards the ceiling. And let's take those 4 deep breaths. Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. And now take the same arm as the leg, bring it to the inside of the leg. Open your shoulders, square them forward. Take the other arm up and over. We're getting a nice long stretch along the lat, all right? And let's take just 3 deep breaths here, all right? Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And I gave you an extra one because I forgot that I said I was only going to do 3. All right. Back up to seated. Square those shoulders towards the other leg. Same thing. Folding over. Nice, intense hamstring stretch. Check that other knee. Make sure it's still going straight up towards the ceiling. And let's take those 4 deep breaths. Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. Same arm as leg to the inside. Other arm up and over. Nice long stretch of the lat. And since we did 4 on the first side, let's do 4 deep breaths here. Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. And back up. And just sort of shake those knees. Bring the legs back together. And then soles of the feet together. Let the knees fall open. We're going to do our usual butterfly stretch. So we want to get the lower back as close to the thighs as possible. So start by taking a flat back and just walk your hands one hand at a time forward as far as you feel you can go, and then let the upper back curve over. Okay? Shake out the head just to make sure you're not clenching the neck muscles. And let's take 4 deep breaths right here. Here we go. That's one. That's two. That's three. And four. All right. I think that is good, my friends. Woo! All right. Well, that was an intense start. Holy crap. This is going to be a heck of a program for us to work on the next few weeks. So I hope you're excited, because I definitely am. I have some areas that I know I want to work on. I've got some challenge points. I've got some stuff in there that I'm like, I know I'm going to crush that. And I think that by the end of this month, we are all going to feel pretty badass, which is super exciting. It is going to be really important to make sure you're fueling and hydrating yourselves properly, okay? And I say this because I'm really bad at doing it for myself. Sometimes we just need that external voice. So go back to these water bottles right now. Here we go. Finished the entire thing. And what I want you to do, once we're done here, is go refill it and drink a whole nother one, all right? Because we worked hard. We worked super hard today. And I know I'm proud of myself. I'm super proud of y'all, and I hope that you're proud of yourselves too. And I hope you're excited. Welcome. You made it through day 2 of April Powers. Holy crap. And yeah, we are going to be working for our fitness over the next month. And I'm really excited, and I couldn't do any of this without all of you. So thank you for coming with me on these wild fitness journeys, because I really appreciate it. We've got 2 more classes this week, 2 more classes in week 1 of April Powers. So Friday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time is Functional Home Fitness, where we do weight training using objects you can find around your house. And then Saturday morning at 9 a.m. is the weekend kickoff, which is our awesome strength and stamina focused bodyweight class. So please do join for either or both of those classes. And yeah, hopefully you can make it to every Wednesday class this week, or if you're not able to make the live cast, definitely catch up with it on the VODs, and we will be ramping ourselves up. Oh my goodness. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All of those handles will be in my end cards, but they are all variations on Blanche Case Fitness. My YouTube channel is where I upload all of the VODs from these streams, so you never have to miss a class, even if you can't make the live cast. So definitely head over there and subscribe. If you want to help support me financially in making these streams, I have a coffee account for one-time donations at Blanche Case Fitness, or you can subscribe to this channel if you have the means to be a longer-term supporter, and either way, your donations are always very much appreciated. And if you want to help me keep growing this channel, this community, then please do tell your friends, loved ones, coworkers, anyone looking for an awesome class. I stream 4 days a week. We have a great community here. We have so much fun. We've got so many plans. We've got the rest of April Powers, and then who knows what else we'll be doing over the course of 2021. And yeah, so I hope that you continue to join for that. Make sure that you are still keeping yourself safe, wearing a mask, washing your hands, trying not to spend lots of time indoors with strangers. Please do schedule your vaccine appointments if you are eligible. I think that most people in most states are eligible at this point, although most is not all. But if you are eligible, please, please, please get vaccinated. It is so important, my friends, that we
get as many people vaccinated as quickly as possible, particularly with upticks in cases and upticks in variants. We need to get out ahead of this. So please be safe. Please be kind. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your communities. Go refill that water bottle. Go get something to eat. Have a great post-class shower. And I will see you all back here on Friday. Mwah. Have a great night.